Please, senor, Mr. Fawlty want to say adios.
He wants to... No,
Si.
no! Oh!
Everyone remembers Basil shouting at guests, Manuel mixing up everything, and Sybil's unforgettable laugh. But what most people don't know is how close the show came to never happening, or that it was based on a real hotel with a real-life Basil. Fawlty Towers may have looked like chaos on screen, but behind the scenes, it was even stranger. Today, we're uncovering 15 facts that reveal just how bizarre and brilliant this sitcom really was. It might shock you to know that Fawlty Towers, despite its massive popularity, only ran for 2 seasons, just 12 episodes in total. That's less than 1 full season of modern sitcoms. Why? Not for lack of demand. BBC Two reportedly offered John Cleese and Connie Booth a huge sum to create a 3rd season, but the pair felt they'd done all they could with Basil, Sybil, and the rest of the madhouse. And what it lacked in quantity, it made up for in pure quality. Every episode is filled with razor-sharp wit, brilliant writing, and perfectly timed chaos. Turns out, 12 episodes were all it took to make TV history. As outrageous as Fawlty Towers is, it wasn't entirely fictional. The show was inspired by the Gleneagles Hotel in Torquay, where John Cleese and the Monty Python crew stayed in 1970 while filming. The staff was strange and the atmosphere tense. Let's just say the service left a lasting impression. That strange little hotel became the blueprint for the show's setting, a charming seaside inn where everything that can go wrong absolutely does. So while Fawlty Towers feels like a brilliant exaggeration, it was somewhat grounded in reality. And no, it didn't have a Waldorf salad on the menu either. Ever wondered why it's called Fawlty Towers? It's not just a random pun, it's a clever wordplay. Faulty is a cheeky play on faulty, hinting that something's broken, and in this hotel, it's everything. The plumbing? Faulty. The staff? Definitely faulty. Basil's people skills? Beyond repair. John Cleese picked the perfect name to reflect the beautiful mess of the show without being too obvious. The name even became part of the joke in the show itself, with guests mishearing or questioning it. So next time you hear Fawlty Towers, just remember, it's not just a name, it's a warning. Sybil wasn't just Basil's wife, she was the real boss. Prunella Scales, the actress who played her, gave her a sharp tongue, killer timing, and that unforgettable laugh you still can't unhear. Scales often improvised lines and reactions, transforming Sybil from what could have been a background character into one of the show's strongest personalities. Her chemistry with Cleese made every Basil versus Sybil moment even funnier. And let's be honest, without Sybil, Basil wouldn't have lasted a single shift. The bizarre stay at the Gleneagles Hotel didn't just inspire the setting, it gave birth to Basil himself. Basil Fawlty himself was based on the hotel's real-life owner, Donald Sinclair, who was so rude he accused guests of stealing and tossed out a briefcase because it looked suspicious. John Cleese just took that uptight rage, added a moustache and passive-aggressive rants, and boom, Basil was born. That's why he feels so real. We've all met a Basil, just hopefully not while checking in. Duck with orange, don't have duck, then chicken. One of the most chaotic and popular episodes of Fawlty Towers Gourmet Night was filmed in a single day. That's right, no second takes, no time to breathe, just pure high-speed comedy. The episode features Basil trying to host a classy gourmet evening, but everything spirals out of control. A missing duck, snobby guests, a broken down car, and, of course, his famous meltdown where he beats the car with a branch. And the fact it came together in a single day? That's TV magic. Unlike most sitcoms of the 70s, Fawlty Towers didn't rely on laugh tracks to tell you when something was funny. It was filmed in front of a live studio audience, but there was no canned laughter, so every giggle, gasp, and chuckle you hear is the real deal. Cleese and Booth believed the writing and performances were strong enough to stand alone. And they were right. Filming with a live audience also pushed the actors to deliver their best in every take, because it made every laugh earned, and every flop unforgettable. The elegant piano theme song of Fawlty Towers sounds more like it belongs to a period drama than a sitcom full of chaos. And that was entirely the point. Composed by Dennis Wilson, the refined, jazzy melody was designed to ironically contrast the storm that followed. It set the stage with grace, before Basil came crashing in. The theme quickly became a classic, instantly recognisable, and completely mismatched in the best way. It wasn't just background music, it was a classy cue that said, "Brace yourself, disaster incoming." In the episode, The Germans, all hell breaks loose at the hotel while Sybil is in the hospital. With Basil in charge, things quickly spiral into mayhem, including a hilariously awful attempt to speak Spanish to poor Manuel. The result? A gloriously poor accent that's neither Spanish nor anything recognisable. It's the perfect display of Basil's overconfidence and ignorance, making the scene both cringeworthy and hilarious. Ironically, Manuel was played by Andrew Sachs, who wasn't Spanish at all but German-born, making the entire exchange even more ridiculous. It's one of those moments where everything goes wrong, and that's exactly why it's so unforgettable. Fawlty Towers didn't rely on star power, but if you look closely, you'll spot some future legends. A young Jeremy Hardy made a brief appearance, and Richard Wilson, who'd later become Victor Meldrew in One Foot in the Grave, turned up as the famously grumpy guest who refused to move his car. These blink-and-you-miss-it cameos added unexpected flair and gave future stars their early start in one of Britain's most beloved sitcoms. Andrew Sachs, who played the lovable, confused waiter Manuel, wasn't Spanish at all. He was actually born in Germany and didn't speak Spanish fluently. In fact, the accent, completely fake. Sachs initially suggested playing Manuel as German, but John Cleese insisted on a Spanish character, so Sachs built an exaggerated Spanish accent from scratch and donned a moustache to complete the disguise. The result? A hilariously over-the-top accent that became one of the show's most iconic and absurd comedic touches. If Basil's fake Spanish accent wasn't awkward enough in The Germans, just wait. He doubles down in the same episode with one of the most infamous rants in British TV history. Trying to be sensitive to German guests, he does the exact opposite. His repeated warnings of "don't mention the war" only make things worse, culminating in one of the most uncomfortable and hysterical moments in British TV comedy. John Cleese's over-the-top, absurd behaviour turned the scene into legend. The line became a cultural catchphrase and is still quoted decades later. But here's the real question. How did audiences in Germany react to it all? Drop a comment and we'll unpack the answer at the end of the video. Fawlty Towers didn't explode out of the gate. In fact, early reviews were mixed and ratings were underwhelming. But word spread, and by the second series, critics and audiences were hooked. The show earned massive praise for its sharp writing and unforgettable characters. It went on to win multiple British TV honours, including BAFTAs for Best Situation Comedy in 1976 and again in 1979. It's a perfect reminder. Even short-run shows can leave legendary footprints. the final episode of Fawlty Towers, titled Basil the Rat, aired in 1979, and what a send-off it was. It featured, of course, a rat in the kitchen, Manuel insisting it was a Siberian hamster, and Basil spiralling into trouble one last time. Though fans were hungry for more, the show ended on a high, wrapping up the Fawlty saga with the same wild energy that made it a classic. Fawlty Towers isn't just a classic, it's the blueprint. Despite only having 12 episodes, it's consistently ranked among the greatest British comedies ever made. Its fast-paced scripts, outrageous farce and unforgettable characters have influenced everything from The Office to Veep. Even decades later, writers and comedians cite it as a masterclass in timing and character-driven chaos. Not bad for a show that nearly got shelved before it aired. And there you have it, 15 weird, wild and wonderfully British facts about Fawlty Towers. Still laughing at Basil's fake Spanish? And as for how the Germans episode was received in Germany, surprisingly, it was a hit. German audiences reportedly loved it, with some even praising how it mocked British awkwardness more than anything else. If this video brought back memories, give it a like and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.